Hi, my name is Justin Loria, and today I'm going to teach you how to do a mini ramp skateboarding trick called a backside axle stall. An axle stall is the stationary version of one of the most common grinds in skateboarding, the 50-50. It involves riding up one side of a quarter pipe, placing both sets of trucks on the coping, and then rolling back in. To do a backside axle stall, you're going to turn so that your back faces the way you were moving when you started the trick. Before you learn how to do it, make sure you're already familiar with the basics of mini ramp skating, especially backside kick turns and dropping in. If you still need to learn how to do either of those maneuvers, you can check out this video for some pointers. Okay, so before we start going straight for some axle stalls, first we're going to break it down into its components and practice each one individually. The first thing you're going to practice is dropping in from the axle stall position. Set your board on the top of the quarter pipe so that both trucks are on top of the coping and the board is pulled away from the inside of the quarter pipe as much as possible. Then put both feet on the board with your back foot on the tail and scoot the back half of the board out so that the outside wheel on your back truck is touching the coping. If you skip this important step, there's a high likelihood of your back truck staying up on top of the quarter pipe, causing the board to hang up, so make sure you're doing this every time. Now that you have your board ready to drop in, rotate your shoulders slightly in the direction that you're going to ride, start leaning toward the inside of the quarter pipe, and transfer some of your weight onto your back foot so that your front wheels come off the ground like a manual. As you lean further into the quarter pipe, keep the front wheels lifted up until the board naturally aligns itself with your shoulders. Once it's facing straight ahead, transfer your weight back onto your front foot and ride down and out of the quarter pipe. Next, you're going to practice getting into the stall. Start by learning how to ride your board all the way up onto the deck of the mini ramp you're riding on. To do this, you're going to have to get as much speed as you can from the other side and pump extra hard from the bottom of the quarter pipe you're riding up to get your board all the way to the top. Once you're able to do that, start practicing turning your shoulders and the board backside as you reach the top. At this point, your eventual goal is to land on top of the quarter pipe with your back truck on the coping and your front wheels a little further out onto the deck. The safest way for you to do this is to land with your back truck as far outside of the quarter pipe as possible, with the inside wheel touching the coping. Now it's time for the final practice step. You're going to ride up the quarter pipe and turn the board backside like before, but this time you're also going to place your front truck on the coping so that you're fully in the axle stall position. Make sure you're riding straight up the quarter pipe rather than at an angle, and that you pump really hard to get up to the top. As your board approaches the coping, rotate your shoulders backside and lift up your front wheels like a manual. Once your back truck makes it all the way up onto the coping, allow your board to rotate 90 degrees and set the front wheels down on the coping with both trucks positioned as far away from the inside of the quarter pipe as possible. When you first start trying this, you might have an issue where you're falling back toward your heels once you put your front wheels down. To fix this problem, you can just decrease the amount of speed you have when you get into the stall until you find the sweet spot where you have enough speed to get to the top, but not so much that you keep going once you get there. Now you should have all the skills you need to do a full-on axle stall. Just ride up the quarter pipe like before to get both trucks fully on top of the coping, kick out your back truck, drop in, and roll away. After using this technique for a while, you can start working on eliminating the step of kicking out your back truck before you drop in. To do this, as you enter the stall, aim your back truck so that it just barely makes it onto the coping, and aim your front truck so that it's all the way on. That way you'll be balanced in the stall, but your back truck will already be in the position you need to drop right back in without having to make any adjustments. If you have any questions, feel free to leave them in the comments section below. Subscribe for more trick tutorial videos, and as always, remember to have fun.